do not actively engage yourself such that you don't lose the stamina of attending while I'm preparing for something. Anything I'm preparing becomes a mission for me. Okay, so I take things seriously. So what happens is, if I'm going for suppose some interview, so I had this habit that I will study, or I will with my welcome to my library, and this one is going to be a random video but on a very essential topic, that you guys have your PhD interviews lined up, or some of you are having these right now. Okay, so if it has gone and you were not able to get something out of it, don't worry, right? Life doesn't end here. You have plenty of institutes in India, plenty of good work is going on there, and you have opportunities. You will give interviews in the coming time. So let's be optimistic, and on this optimistic note, let's start my video. That is, what are the 10 things which you should not do, or which you shouldn't follow while going to a PhD interviews? Because I think what you should do is there are a lot of videos, lot of guidance is there, and what you should do also varies from person to person. So in person I have not encountered many of you, therefore I can't tell you what you should do, because that is based on your personality. But 10 very essential not to do's I have come up with, based on I have given some 5 to 6 premier institutes PhD interviews. So what I thought was, at my time there was nobody telling us that please don't do this or please do this. There was nothing like that. So I want to increase the information out there such that out of my experience something can be benefited by you guys. Okay, so the first one and the very important thing is, also you can think that I am listing all these things on the basis of priority. So the first one is very important, followed by the second one, and then up to the 10th one. 10th one will definitely blow your mind, because there I'll talk something intellectual. So the first one is, do not try to imitate. Okay, so let's take the example of some of the PhD interview is available on YouTube. Okay, and you thought that okay fine, so this girl was doing this, or this boy was behaving in a certain manner, what I'll do, I'll just imitate there. So I have also been in your position, so I know what we think that this is the right way, because I don't think we are very much aware of the fact ki how to behave in a PhD interview. Okay, so do not try to imitate, because your natural self will eventually be exposed to them, and if there will be a slight contrast, even slight contrast in the behavior shown by you within a span of 10 minutes, they'll judge that this person, there is a highly likely possibility that this person will change his or her colors during the 5 years of PhD. This is the psychology that goes behind the committee members. Okay, so be as natural as you can. Try to be humble, but be as natural as you can. Do not imitate anybody. If you think someone, all of us are, we are visual creatures, right? We get impressed by people. So then what we do, subconsciously, consciously, subconsciously of course, we start following those people, and while following those people, unknowingly we imitate them. So try to do one thing: do not listen to monotonous videos. Just do not follow a single person, and just try one thing, which is a solution. I think just stand in front of a mirror and then practice, because there comes your true self. You know, right? You are in this body from 20 to 25 years, so you know how do you behave normally. If any bifurcation from that, step back, come to your place, write down everything that what your natural self is, and then take that to interview room. Okay, so there is a high percentage that they will be impressed. I don't say this word much, but they'll be impressed, or they will be influenced by your personality if you keep it simple, if you keep it very normal, very true self. Okay, so first thing is, do not try to imitate. And the second one is, do not reveal much. This is what I'm sorry, this is what I always talk in my Instagram posts when I I keep posting questions. So when I post any PhD mock interview question and I give you answer, I write that please be very precise in your answer. Do not give them any keyword. Say for example, if they've asked you what is A, just don't tell them that A is false. After A comes B. Okay, if you will say that after A comes B and then comes C and there is these alphabets are from A to Z, then of course they're going to question you about J. So stick to A only. Even if you know anything, that is not none of your business. Do not try to reveal much. So if you know about A, just be very precise. Say, okay, fine. A is the first alphabet of the entire A to Z series. Okay. So I think this example was enough. And the third thing is, which I think was my problem when I was traveling, when I was going for interviews. Do not get intimidated. I used to get intimidated very soon. Sometimes you feel that they are pinpointing you, because when you'll go for interview, then you will realize that the entire population of India is fighting for the same position you're fighting for. So first you're under the pressure which is created by your own self. Then you talk to people, then you get to know, okay, fine, these students are from some of the most prestigious institutes of India, and you come from a very small place, very nominal university. And there comes this fear of judgment, this critical analysis, and then even a slight question as easy as the full form of ATP can make you fearful. So do not get intimidated. They are not to disrespect you, they are not there to disrespect you. See, committee is a very cordial group of people. Only what you should learn is, I quote Zohra's interview a lot, because I think that girl was, she knew how to play in an interview, and that comes after interview. Okay, so you from your side should dominate the interview. Therefore I tell you people that fill as many forms as possible. Okay, you have a chance called faculty interaction. That time make it very clear, sir, I don't want to do PhD in this institute, but till that time fight for your position. Okay, do not waste or take anybody else's position, but till first round, let's say, just fight for your position, fight for your, what do you say, your space there. Okay, so do not get intimidated by these people. They will try to intimidate you. There are many students, many of my friends, they went to one of the topmost institute of India, and they were from some universities, and they were told by the professors कि ये पढ़ाते हैं तुम्हें university में. So it's not that they are disrespecting you. It's just that कि if a person is at level 10, okay, and the other person is at level 7 or 6, so it naturally comes from this person that he'll try to guide you. It happens. Okay, I have some 2 to 3 years more experience than you people. I'm trying to guide you. This happens. I think in this process, when we are juniors, we think that the other person is trying to offend us. So that doesn't happen. Do not get intimidated, even if they're trying to. Okay, so that's the takeaway. That is, third one is, do not get intimidated. Also, one, again, personal to me, do not get bogged down by the fact that you haven't done any project. If you haven't done any project and you have enough of the theoretical knowledge, guys, you're gonna do it. Okay, you'll have information, you will have your concepts in hand, and a person who is thorough with his or her basic knowledge is, I think, the most powerful person. So know your basics, know your correct basics, right? So you can build anything over your basics. So even you haven't done any project, if okay, let's take an example कि you haven't done any project, so max to max कितना time लगेगा आपको to learn all those techniques going in a laboratory. जो एक lab होती है, it's a place where what happens, so a lab is a closed area जहाँ पे some of the techniques are followed. Okay, so you should learn like what, say 8 to 9 techniques to sustain in a lab. So you will max to max, you will take some 6 months to learn those techniques, or 1 year. So do not get intimidated, bogged down by the fact that you haven't done any project, you don't have any past experience. Anyways, you're gonna build your experience. Okay, just be ready to learn. So even if somebody shows you their file that they have done so big works, and again, they are not trying to mock you, they are just showing what they have done. So just do not get bogged down, or just don't think that you are out of the race just because of the fact you haven't done any project. I have not, and you can see what, I haven't done very big achievements, but then again, I've qualified the PhD interviews, right? So also again a testimony that if a person does not do project, can also fetch premier institutes of India, right? I think itna evidence is enough for you. I didn't have that experience also. There was nobody to tell me that, Manisha, okay fine, you haven't done any project, then also you can go and fetch your position at the premier institutes of India. Okay, so I'm telling you, do not get bogged down by the fact that you haven't done any project. Your project doesn't define you. What defines you is basics, and then what defines you the most is correct basics. Okay, anybody can ask any question out of any, like, all the plethora of questions available. If you have your basics correct, you'll reach to the answer sooner or later. Just you'll take time, build on hints, and just juggling with it. I always tell you, push yourself. So yeah, you'll reach to the concept. Fourth one done, right? Fifth one is, what happens, guys, is when we travel, right, we go to different institutes won't come to us. Okay, so because of COVID, online interviews ho ja rahe the, but this time again you guys have to, I think, travel. And when you're traveling, fatigue switch in, right? So do not let that fatigue take down you. So I think there will be students who will be local, and there'll be people who will travel some 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers, and reach there on time. So do not let the fatigue come and switch you down. Do one thing, take your time, have good nutrition, and then just go to the person that, can I take time? They will allow you. If the interview is running from, let's say, morning 9 to evening 7, then they'll give you time. Okay, so do not let the fatigue switch you, take you down, that you are not feeling good. Then again, if you're feeling situations like nausea, vomiting, then you should definitely consult somebody. And when you're traveling during this summertime, like, it's a transition time, so you can also travel with ORS. Take all these electrolyte supplements with you, such that if you feel down, then you can immediately have these things. Okay, so you can have glucose with you, you can have ORS with you, you can have some common salt with you, which I think it's very easy to learn things, but it's very difficult to implement things. You know that in small intestine, that facilitated diffusion happens, where your transporters transport two things simultaneously, that is sodium as well as glucose. So whenever you take glucose, then you require sodium for its faster transmission, or vice versa, right? So have these things with you. These are for your safety. So do not let fatigue come and affect your situation. And just because you have prepared for about 1.5 years, just because of this one day's journey, you can't afford to leave this situation. Okay, so yeah, just don't let the fatigue affect you. And then I think one more thing, which is, they will try to play with you. That they'll ask you, okay, fine, you have told us that you want to work in so department, but we currently don't have any position in that department. What do you think? Will you work in some other discipline, or some other sub discipline, or some other branched discipline of that field? So what do you have to say? You have to say yes. So do not be rigid is the sixth point. That don't be rigid. Try to be as flexible as possible, but just do not bifurcate from your topic. Okay, let's say your topic was, you want to study about diseases. So if not MTB, if not TB, then even if you are getting something else related to the respiratory system, related to the brain, like brain TB, anything like meningitis TB is brain TB. I'm sorry for these bad examples, but if you want to study about the diseases, then you can take any disease. Don't be very rigid that I want to study this disease only. So when I went to PGI, one day I'll be making a video, why did I left SGPGI, so that you can also come to know that what are the critical alarming points in a PhD when you should leave that place and run. Okay, it's not that you have to take the degree. ये ऐसा concept नहीं है कि you are just entering from one point and up end तक ही you just come out with a degree. There are certain situations, there are certain expectations of yourself from you only. So what are the alarming points when you should leave the place immediately as soon as possible? Okay, so don't be very rigid. As I was working in PGI Lucknow, so they asked me what do I want to work in. So I told them that cancer. In cancer, they were working on cervical cancer, and I happened to be aspirant who wanted to work in cervical cancer. But with time, my topic kept on changing. So I tried to bear as much as possible, but sooner or later I decided that okay, fine, my growth is restricted here, and I'll tell you the entire story later. But don't be rigid. Okay, do one thing, just don't be rigid. If they'll ask you that okay, fine, this is not available, but this is something else, we are doing something innovative in the same field, then you will say okay sir, I don't have any problem in doing that. Okay, and be this one thing is also like additionally I'm adding that be very curious. Okay, fine, I would love to learn that. Okay, have some, what do you say, have some energy in you such that the other person interacts with you and will be like कि क्या student मिला था आज. So you should be in their head and they should take your memories with them like for 10 days, 15 days. Try to have an impression, try to have such an influence over the people ki, you know, they'll think about you. Okay, fine, this one is a nice aspirant. Okay, he or she will become a great scientist. तो ऐसा कुछ आपका aura होना चाहिए. Well, these are great things, these are big things, but there are students who, you know, take that aura with them naturally. So then the seventh thing is, and the most important thing for extroverted people, that do not engage in chit chat. Okay, you'll get a lot of friends there. When you will go to PhD interview, you'll get some 100, 200, 250, 300 students there juggling for the same seat. So what happens to decrease your nervousness? You start talking with people. I myself included, I had made some very wonderful, like the most wonderful friends while going from places to places. Okay, I met a lot of people. You must be knowing Shikha Mittal. She runs a YouTube channel. So I met her in my IIT Roorkee PhD interview. Okay, so, and I think in IISER Mohali also. So from there we became friends. So do not engage in chit chat. See, just judge the kind of person you are. For some people, what happens is when they engage themselves in conversations na, तो वो अपना natural self, just they lose their natural self and they just forget that they have an interview ahead of them, and it happens with me. So I'm a kind of person, I want to know more about people, I want to know more about, you know, institutes or something like that, that I forget कि यार अब मेरे को ऐसे लगता है कि इंटरव्यू नहीं होना चाहिए, बस अब सब कुछ सही है. तो if you're not a very calm person, like I've been on this journey for a while, तो अब तो I'm least affected by all these conversations, or I do not prefer to do conversations before because I know what kind of person I am. Okay, so do one thing, just judge yourself and do not engage in chit chat, because there what happens na, students will tell you that their teacher have some connections with the other teacher. Okay, and then you'll think that okay fine, her seat is fixed or his seat is fixed, what am I doing here? So इस case में whatever confidence you have attained till now वो भी decrease down हो जाता है. Okay, so do not engage in chit chat. Actively involve नहीं होना है. That doesn't mean कि आप किसी को answer ही ना करो and you just, you know, become a pumpkin. No, ऐसा भी नहीं है. Grumpy भी नहीं होना है. You just in a balanced manner. Okay, fine, yes, no works, and whatever instructions you have to follow, you can tell your fellow friends that you also have to follow these things, but do not actively engage yourself such that you don't lose the stamina of attending an interview, and you do not lose the idea or the focus that you need to qualify it. Okay, so this one thing happens. And then one more thing I told you, whenever interview happens, right, I'll say for example I'm a committee member, I'll try to be I'll try to be frank with you. So just do not open yourself up. कुछ भी हो जाए, it's a formal conversation. Okay, so do not try to open yourself up completely. एकदम completely खुल मत जाओ कि ये हुआ था वो हुआ था, and you know, in that what happens, they'll judge your personality. A person who is like currently I came to know about a person, he had given PhD to some 30 to 35 students. So can you believe ki the amount of exposure he have had with the human personalities? So 30 students, 35 students को mentor करना, imparting them their successful PhDs, means you are having a library of 35 different personalities. So what happens if you'll open up in the front of such a person, like if you'll just open up, that then the chances of you getting selected as a person will decrease, because there'll be some slight emotional touch, there'll be some personal touch to your personality. You don't want to reveal everything to the person, right? Keep some surprises for them also. So वो होता है ना कि there is a saying called जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. तो just showcase whatever you have different personalities in you. I'm not talking about split personalities. You have different personalities with you. Like the way you are with your mother is not the way you are with your teacher. Okay, so try to showcase whatever you want to show. ठीक है, आपको जो बेचना है, आपको जो whatever you have to sell to the other person, you just have to show that. When you'll have personal one-to-one interaction, you'll get enough time. So what was my point? Be humble, but just do not try to impress the other person. Okay, just be humble. And then comes very important thing, which I think you people, the people from my generation or the people before them knew like very well, but I think today this idea is a little bit suppressed, that you need to know a lot about a single thing rather than multiple knowledge about many things. Like, just do not try to acquire a lot of horizontal knowledge. What is horizontal knowledge? Horizontal knowledge is having knowledge, say for example 1 to 100, you know about 1 to 100, like you know what is 1, what is 2, up to 100, but little like knowing 10% from 1 to 100. Okay, so as it is said that half knowledge is dangerous, then again this horizontal knowledge is very dangerous in research field. Try to pick up one topic, बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, तो जस्ट टेक आउट 4 to 5 टॉपिक्स, ट्राई टू नो एवरीथिंग अबाउट देम. आई थिंक 4 to 5 टॉपिक्स के बारे में भी एवरीथिंग, like to know everything is really very difficult. So you can pick up 2 to 3 things and try to read as many reviews as possible. One preferably, just एक टॉपिक के बारे में you can read as many reviews as possible, as many research papers as possible, and then you can tell the other person. Okay. So horizontal knowledge नहीं रखनी है means what? You just don't have to know a lot about a lot of things. Okay, concise करो, in depth जाओ. in depth जाना is called vertical knowledge, and superficially skim through करना चीज़ों को is called horizontal knowledge. So horizontal knowledge is of no use in research field. If a person knows little about so many fields, I don't think that person is gonna success, I don't think, but that person is not going to sustain it in this field. Okay, so vertical knowledge पे ध्यान दो. 10th and the very important point which I told you earlier that will blow your mind is try not to follow everything I said. Okay, what do I mean by that? You can think that she has gone mad, but it's not the thing. The thing is, I'll give you an example. I'm a person who studies, like I need to be in a zone while I'm preparing for something. Anything I'm preparing becomes a mission for me. Okay, so I take things seriously. So what happens is, if I'm going for, suppose, some interview, so I had this habit that I will study, or I will, with my small notes, with my small zone which I have created for preparation for the battle, I'll be with that till the point my interview arrives. Okay, so अगर मुझे morning में पढ़ना है, I'll study. I can't listen to the fact that exam के पहले दिन नहीं पढ़ते, exam की morning में नहीं पढ़ते. That's my personality. I have decided, I've lived with this body, with this mind for like 24 to 25 years, and I know what works for me. So please know, अगर इन 10 points में से, out of these 9 points, if do not resonate with any of the point, cut करो ना उसे. क्यों सुन रहे हो आप? You just don't have to obey everything everybody says. इतनी information हो गई है that filter out करना is very difficult. That's why I tell you, journaling करो, meditation करो, you will take out something out of you. Okay, so what will happen is, just do not listen to every line which I've told you. Just do not try to listen to every line, but do not try to follow which I've told you. If you're a person who can study till, like there are people जो एक दिन पहले तक ही पढ़ सकते हैं, आफ्टर दैट उनका प्रेशर स्विच इन कर जाता है, एंड दे वांट टू बी एज चिल एज पॉसिबल बिफोर एग्जाम्स, बिफोर इंटरव्यू. इफ यू आर दैट पर्सनैलिटी, डू दैट ना. यू कांट थिंक द फैक्ट दैट ओके, मनीषा सेड दैट वो तो मॉर्निंग तक, या वो तो इंटरव्यू रूम से बाहर जाने तक पढ़ती है, तो मैं भी पढ़ूंगा. तो इट डजंट हैपन. ठीक है, आपकी अपनी पर्सनैलिटी है, यू शुड वर्क अकॉर्डिंगली. एंड आई विल टेल यू वन थिंग, व्हाइल आई वाज going for my this IISER Mohali interview, when I was outside this room, because I do not prefer to talk to people. By that time I had given some 4 to 5 experiences, already left 1 PhD, so I knew that, you know, what works for me. I really know myself well, like 30 to 40%. So I did one thing, I just kept my earphones and I was listening something of plant physiology. Okay, and I was so actively involved in that whatever they asked something about Arabidopsis, so I could tell how many chromosomes were there, when was it sequenced, a lot of things which I was also taken by surprise that I know it. So why did that happen? That happened because I knew that I am a personality who can handle with the external pressure, but internal pressure which I create is difficult for me. So I don't create any pressure internally. अगर मेरी personality नहीं allow करती है कि I should go actively and talk to people, I will not do that. Because I can't be my own enemy, right? If my personality allows that, Manisha, okay, fine, you can read up until 5 minutes before the exam begins, I'll do that. Who's gonna judge you? Nobody is gonna judge you. Do what's good for you, do what's beneficial for you, and try to know yourself as much as possible. Because in this journey of 5 to 6 years, let's say 7 years sometimes, what happens is you need to be with yourself most of the time. Okay, so you should know how your working paradigm is, how your working work ethics are. So for that, I think journaling is the best thing. And with this note, guys, I'll be leaving you. This one was some kind of spiritual session which I made it so, but it wasn't. It was as cool as I am. Okay, I'm trying to be cool. So thank you. You guys are awesome, and we'll meet in the next video. I think this video, you have taken some of the like points strongly with yourself. At least I assume so. So I would love to read your lovely comments on as to what my experiences are giving you. Okay, such that I can mold, I can shape my strategies in the same manner. Okay, so keep studying. Do not follow a lot of person. Do not follow a lot of things. Make your own strategies by yourself. Okay, so thank you everybody. Keep studying, and we'll meet in the next video.